Welcome to Health 2660. Here we don't just talk about health, we tell the stories that heal. Now please listen to the story. Harold, a man etched with the stories of 73 years, a collection of laughter lines and sun-kissed skin, felt the sting of an unwelcome truth. He wasn't just getting older, he was losing ground. His retirement, once a landscape of possibility stretching endlessly before him, had slowly begun to shrink the horizon line, drawing closer with each passing day. Harold, the retired physical education teacher, the man who'd once effortlessly demonstrated perfect form in 100 different sports, the man whose legs were once springs, coiled and ready to leap, Harold was stuck. Not metaphorically, not existentially, though those thoughts, he admitted, did occasionally visit him late at night, but physically, undeniably stuck in his armchair. It had started subtly, a minor inconvenience at first. A slight hesitation, as he rose, a momentary reliance on momentum. He'd brushed it off, attributed it to a particularly long gardening session, or an unusually vigorous pickleball match. But denial, Harold knew from years of coaching teenagers, was a powerful, insidious force. It could disguise even the most glaring realities, wrapping them in layers of wishful thinking and hopeful excuses. Now, however, denial's shield had shattered. There was no ignoring the truth any longer. He couldn't get up from his chair without pushing off the armrests. The once effortless act of standing, a movement so fundamental it was practically invisible, had become an ordeal. A strained grunt escaped his lips as he leaned forward, his hands gripping the worn wooden arms of the chair like lifelines. His muscles, once so familiar and responsive, now felt foreign, sluggish, resistant. The burning in his thighs intensified with each failed attempt, a stark reminder of their waning power. His knees, those faithful servants of countless basketball games and cross-country runs, protested with a chorus of pops and creaks. Each unsuccessful rise was a defeat, a tiny but stinging blow to his pride, a stark symbol of his declining strength. Panic, cold and clammy, began to creep in. This wasn't just about getting up from a chair. This was about losing his independence, his mobility, his very sense of self. Harold, the man who defined himself by his physicality, was facing the terrifying prospect of becoming physically helpless. The thought was a punch to the gut, a wave of nausea that threatened to overwhelm him. He remembered his father, a proud, independent man, slowly succumbing to the ravages of age. The wheelchair, the endless doctor's appointments, the gradual erosion of his spirit. Harold had vowed he would never let that happen to him. He'd spent his life preaching the virtues of physical fitness, the importance of staying active, the power of a healthy lifestyle. And yet here he was, trapped in his own body, a prisoner of his own neglect. The next morning, driven by a mixture of fear and determination, Harold made an appointment with Dr. Anya Sharma, his longtime family physician. Dr. Sharma, a woman with a kind smile and sharp eyes, listened patiently as Harold recounted his struggles. She conducted a thorough examination, poking and prodding, testing his reflexes and muscle strength. Her expression remained neutral, but Harold could sense the underlying concern. "Harold," she said gently after reviewing the results, "what you're experiencing isn't simply a natural part of aging. While some decline is inevitable, the degree of weakness you're exhibiting suggests there's more going on." She paused, choosing her words carefully. Weak legs are often the first warning sign of declining muscle and nerve function. It could be related to several factors, including inactivity, poor nutrition, or even underlying medical conditions. The words hit Harold hard. He knew deep down that he hadn't been taking care of himself as well as he should have. Retirement had brought with it a certain level of complacency, a gradual slide into sedentary habits. He spent more time watching television, less time exercising. His diet, once carefully balanced, had become increasingly reliant on convenience foods, processed snacks, and sugary drinks. He'd allowed himself to become, in his own words, soft. Dr. Sharma continued explaining the complex interplay between muscles, nerves, and the brain. Your brain sends signals to your muscles, telling them to contract and move. But that communication relies on healthy nerves and a properly functioning nervous system. Poor nutrition and long-term inactivity can weaken not only your muscles, but also your brain's ability to send those signals effectively. Chronic inflammation, especially neuroinflammation, can disrupt these signals even more, making otherwise strong legs feel weak. And this often starts in the gut, worsened by poor diet. She also emphasized that prolonged sitting, even without illness, mimics the effects of bed rest, rapidly accelerating muscle atrophy. The chair may feel safe, but it can quietly become a prison, she said, especially when the muscles involved in balance and strength, like the fast twitch fibers in your legs, aren't being challenged. She emphasized the importance of addressing the underlying causes, not just treating the symptoms. She recommended a comprehensive plan that included dietary changes, regular exercise, and potentially physical therapy. She also ordered some additional tests to rule out any other medical conditions. Harold left Dr. Sharma's office feeling a mixture of relief and trepidation. He was relieved to have a diagnosis, a concrete explanation for his struggles. But he was also apprehensive about the work ahead. Overhauling his lifestyle wouldn't be easy. It would require discipline, commitment, and a willingness to break old habits. That evening, Harold sat down and made a list. On one side, he wrote down all the things he needed to eliminate from his life: ultra-processed foods, sugary drinks, excessive television, watching prolonged periods of sitting. On the other side, he listed the things he needed to incorporate: nutrient-dense whole foods, regular exercise, social interaction, mental stimulation. He started with his diet. He threw out all the junk food in his pantry and refrigerator, replacing it with fresh fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains. He began eating whole eggs, salmon bone broth, berries, leafy greens, and full-fat yogurt. These foods, he knew, were packed with nutrients that would support not just his muscles, but also his nervous system and overall inflammation levels. He learned that leucine in eggs activates the mTOR pathway, triggering muscle synthesis. EPA and DHA from salmon reduce chronic inflammation and strengthen nerve cell membranes. Vitamin B12 is crucial for maintaining the myelin sheath that insulates nerves, and glycine and glutamine from bone broth support gut repair and lower brain inflammation through the gut-brain axis. Next, he tackled his inactivity. He started small with simple daily exercises, standing up from a chair 10 times without using his hands, short walks around his neighborhood, and light stretching. He gradually increased the intensity and duration of his workouts, adding in more functional exercises like one-leg stands, heel raises, and glute bridges. He even dusted off his old bicycle and started taking leisurely rides along the riverfront. He also made a conscious effort to engage his mind. He started reading more books, doing crossword puzzles, and taking online courses. He joined a local book club and began attending community events. He even volunteered at a nearby elementary school, helping the students with their reading and math. The first few weeks were tough. Harold's muscles ached, his energy levels were low, and he craved his old comfort foods. But he persevered, driven by the memory of his father and the fear of losing his independence. He reminded himself that this wasn't just about getting stronger. It was about reclaiming his life. Slowly but surely, he began to see results. After just 8 weeks, Harold could get up from a chair unassisted. The burning in his thighs subsided. His knees felt more stable, and his energy levels soared. He started sleeping better. His mood improved, and he felt more focused and alert. Within 3 months, he was grocery shopping on his own, again carrying the bags without struggling. He started visiting friends and family more often, and even planned a road trip to visit his grandchildren. He felt like his old self again, perhaps even better. One sunny afternoon, as he was walking through the park, Harold saw a young boy struggling to climb a small hill. Without hesitation, he rushed over to help. He grabbed the boy's hand and pulled him up the hill, feeling a surge of strength and vitality. The boy looked up at him with wide eyes, a mixture of gratitude and admiration. "Thank you, sir," the boy said. "You're really strong." Harold smiled, feeling a warmth spread through his chest. "You're welcome, son," he said. "Just remember, it's never too late to get stronger." Health 2660 thanks you for listening. We'll see you in the next video, and until then, be kind to yourself.